Hi, this is Deborah Baska, and I am a 10-star diamond, three-time elite Beachbody coach. And I wanted to share with you some of the things that made the biggest difference in my success as a coach. Coaches are always wanting to know, what's that secret sauce? What's that special thing that successful coach does that I'm not doing, that is making the difference between their success and my success? And a lot of times we think that it's some kind of inherent trait that coach has, that maybe they're just blessed or gifted with the naturally successful gene, or maybe we think it's because they have tons of connections and know lots of people, or their sister's sister knows somebody who knows somebody. A lot of times we think it's things that we could never have that makes that difference. But I'm here to tell you that we all have what it takes to be a successful Beachbody coach. From a skills perspective, I'm going to give you 5 difference makers that when I think back to what got me out of the starting gate and what got me to my path to success, that made the biggest difference. Because there was a lot of other coaches that signed up at the same time that I did. I've been a coach for 4.5 years, and a lot of those coaches are no longer coaches. A lot of those coaches are not 10-star diamond coaches. A lot of those coaches aren't 3 times elite. A lot of those coaches haven't made Success Club for 47 months in a row, Success Club 10. So why was I able to achieve this and others did not? I'm not going to say we're not able, but just did not do it. So here's my number one tip, my number one difference maker, and that is mindset, personal development. And I know you've heard that ad nauseum from so many coaches. Every successful coach says that. And you probably roll your eyes and think, oh, yeah, they've got to have some secret to how they use social media. That must be some special, it must be their blog or their search engine optimization. No, I am truly telling you, the biggest difference maker is what's right up here and what's right in here. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but let's talk about what's in your mind, your mental mindset. That is the biggest difference maker. When I think about my starting off as a new coach, my mental mindset before I became a coach was very negative. It was very victim-like. I believed that I was not meant for certain things in life. I was stuck in a job that I disliked. I felt very trapped by life. I felt unable to do anything different. When I became a coach, even before I really grasped the idea that this could be my career, the positivity from the coaching community started seeping into my mind. And when I decided that I wanted to go from being a discount coach to make a little money coach and started plugging in to the training, one of the first things I was told was do your personal development. And I'll tell you that made such a huge difference. Even within the first 6 months of being a coach, while I was still at my corporate job, I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I'm a better person at work. I do my job better. I'm a better mom, a better wife, a better person. I'm thinking differently about myself and my surroundings. I'm seeing my life with a different lens. I'm feeling more hopeful. I'm feeling like I have some control over what happens to me. I'm not stuck. So here's the books that I read. And I think this is kind of in the order that I read them. Number 1, I read The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And it's very similar to The Compound Effect. In fact, he refers to The Compound Effect and Darren Hardy as part of his inspiration for this book. But it was just the one I read. It was a very simple read. I was told to read 10 pages a day, and I was very reluctant to do that because I have better things to do than read some self-help book, right? I was a busy corporate woman, busy mom. I'm tired at the end of the day. I want to read James Patterson. But I did my 10 pages a day. And that totally changed my life. Second, go for no. Yes is the destination. That book taught me not to be afraid of failure, not to be afraid of no's, because I can tell you, I am a raging introvert. I don't like confrontation and I don't really like conversation. And I was very afraid to ask people to join me in a challenge or in the business. Go for no, yes is the destination, taught me mental mindset that the more people you ask, the more people that know about what you're doing, yes, you're going to get more no's, but number one, no's don't kill you, and number two, no's lead to yeses. Because there's been so many people that I was afraid to approach that turned into wonderful customers, wonderful coaches. Once I realized that go for no is the way I need to go about my business and about life in general, right? Number three is Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. And that's all about time management and prioritization. And I can tell you, I still struggle with that today, but I can tell you when I have that terminology in my head, okay, we've got to eat that frog. What's your frog today? Oh, I know what my frogs are. And believe you me, I still struggle with eating them first. But time management and prioritization, you got to read that book. Number 4, this is the big one, Attractor Factor by Joe Vitale. I listened to this on audio, and I can tell you, I give this book so much credit for my ability to hit elite my first year as a coach. This book changed my life because what you put in your mind and what you think about is what you manifest. And that's what personal development is all about. And I can tell you, if we're left alone with the thoughts in our head, it's not a good place to be, right? And the people around us typically aren't telling us that we can succeed, that what we're doing is awesome, that oh yes, you can be a successful Beachbody coach. Most people are telling you, really? So you've got to do these things. You've got to put this stuff into your head. Attractor Factor. I'm telling you, it was my path to elite 2-star diamond my first year as a coach. And the final book I will tell you about is Go Pro by Eric Worre. And Go Pro is the book that helped me understand that network marketing is totally cool, totally amazing, and why wouldn't everybody else want to do this? So I have a long list of other personal development I've done in the 4.5 years, but those are the ones I read really early on that really made a big difference. Number 2, stay engaged. This is the same thing that I tell my challengers. You've got to stay engaged with your team, with your coach, with your sponsors, with your Beachbody community. Stay engaged. National wake-up calls. I remember as a new coach, I listened to those every single week. I can remember listening in my car on my lunch break. They used to be at noon, and now they're in the morning. But they're on recording, so listen to them on your way to work or on your way home from work. No reason. The stories that I heard from from the coaches that were the featured speakers on each call changed my mindset. There's that word again, mindset. Changed my mindset because I realized that successful coaches come in all shapes and sizes from all different backgrounds and walks in life. And that, oh, I thought that she was successful because of XYZ, but this person is totally different and they're successful too. So it must not be XYZ, it must be something else. And the thing that you'll hear these coaches say is kind of the same thing. Consistency, personal development, 3 vital behaviors. They're all telling you the same thing in a little bit of a different way with a little bit of a different spin, and it really sinks in. You got to stay engaged with your team calls. You know, that's training. That's just skills building and more mental mojo. Stay engaged with your events. Go to Super Saturday. Go to any local training. Go to Summit, go to Summit, go to Summit. Somebody said to me, oh, I didn't register for Summit because I thought that was only for successful coaches. That's where people go when they want to be a successful coach. And stay engaged with your team training and your team Facebook groups, because the worst thing you can do when you start to feel doubt, when you start to feel like, oh, this isn't working for me, the worst thing you can do is pull back and go back to being inside your head with your own thoughts, surrounded by these people that are telling you you can't do it. You got to stay connected with the people that are telling you you can, the people that are doing it, the really good thing about seeing other people achieve things that you want to achieve is that tells you that it's possible, that your dreams are not impossible, but possible. Number 3, accountability and tracking is huge. I remember as a new coach, my sponsor gave me a little Word document that I printed out, and I actually carried it. I folded it up and put it in my purse. We didn't have the business activity tracker then. Carried it in my purse everywhere I went. And when I had a chance to do some new invites or some new contacts, I would get it out and do tick marks on it. I would check. And every week she had us get on a call with her. And all we did was report in our numbers. And I remember thinking as a busy corporate exec, wow, this is really an interesting call. But you know what? It was very important because I know I wasn't going to be the girl that got on the call and didn't have my numbers done. And there were coaches that did get on the call that didn't have their numbers done. And then there were coaches that didn't even get on the call because they didn't have their numbers done. I got on that call every single week and I made sure I had my goals done. You got to own it. You got to own your business. You got to own it. And tracking your numbers, what gets measured gets improved, as well as accountability. The next part of accountability I had was when I was going for that elite, I think it was going from 2-star to 5-star, I had to track on a business activity tracker this time and turn that into my mentor. That made such a huge difference because I'd gotten out of the habit of tracking. And when I got back into the habit of tracking, I saw my business rise. I saw my Success Club numbers just start blowing through the roof. It makes a difference. So find an accountability partner. Ask your sponsor, find a success partner, say, I need you to hold me accountable. I'm going to track this stuff and I'm going to tell it to you every week. And if I don't, you need to ask me for it. Number 4 is setting non-negotiable goals. Success Club, that's the one. That's the non-negotiable goal. Every single month, I was told to hit that every single month. And here's a little extra tidbit. Always do what you're told by the people that are successful in this business. The National Wake Up Call, the leaders, the people in your upline, your star diamonds, your upline star diamonds. These people, when they tell you to do something, it's because they know it works. And you should at least try it, right? I mean, I tried everything. And some things like hosting shake and share parties, that wasn't my cup of tea, but I tried it. I tried it more than once because I was told, do this, see how it works for you. But hitting Success Club 10 for 47 months in a row. And before that, I hit Success Club 5. And I'm telling you, when you hit Success Club, that means you are building your business. If you are not hitting Success Club, you are not building your business because you're not creating sustainable customers, right? You're just not. And if you're an seasoned coach and you're not hitting Success Club, I dare say your business is not on the incline, but it could very possibly be on the decline because we know that coasting only happens when you go downhill. And eventually, if you think you're coasting right now, your business will start going downhill if you aren't hitting Success Club, if you're not adding new people into your team and into your business, into your challenge groups every single month. You've got to help new people every single month. Finally, the 5th thing that really made a big difference for me was I was hungry for it. And when I mean I was hungry for it, 6 months after I became a coach, I was really excited by the business and I was really hopeful and I thought, man, this could be my next career someday. Well, someday happened about 6 months after I became a coach. That job I had been in for 20 years that I thought I was going to be in for another 20 years came to an end. So now I am a highly paid, highly seasoned executive with no job and no income. So I sat down to work my Beachbody business and I told my husband, I am going to do this. I'm not going back to corporate America. I was not going to go back to being in those golden handcuffs. And that was the why that made me cry. That made me super hungry. I see a lot of coaches that tell me at the very beginning how much they want this to work and that they really want this because they don't want to have to work 2 jobs and they're tired of living paycheck to paycheck and they're tired of having to tell their kids no, that they can't have this or can't do that, and they're tired of being in debt. All these reasons why that are really powerful. But once they get into the business and they realize that, this takes a little extra time and I need to make some sacrifices. I've got to give up some TV time or I have to get up a little earlier or stay up a little later. they fall off and they decide, because it is a decision, that they're really not that hungry for a different way of life, that they're really okay, content with the way things are. That's not a bad thing. That's just the way the decision they've made. So I truly believe that if you do not find success as a Beachbody coach, it's because you've decided that you're really okay with the way things are today. Again, Beachbody coaching is not for everybody. Everyone is not meant to be the CEO of their own business. They're not meant to work from home. But you got to just be honest with yourself. You have decided that you really just don't want to do the things that I've told you, these difference maker things every day, day in, day out, that are going to make the difference in your success. So those are really, in a very short period of time, what I consider to be the difference makers in becoming a successful Beachbody coach. I can tell you today, 4.5 years later, I have doubled my corporate income. My husband and I, we are like 3 months away from being debt free, except for our mortgage. Our family is so together in this. My husband and I work this business. Our kids are very engaged in it. We travel. We have freedom of time. I can't tell you that I would never, ever, ever go back to working for somebody else. That is the decision that I've made. That's the decision that is working for us in our lives. And if you want something like this, you can do it. But you just got to be committed to being different, than all the others. So take a note of all these difference makers that I suggested to you, and good luck, and let me know how you do with them. Let me know how they are making a difference in your own Beachbody business. Good luck.